Friends with benefits turns into bank fraud. 13 or so years ago I was involved in a singles internet community forum, pre-MySpace and Facebook days, that was centered around my local area. Here I met up with this gal I'll call Psycho Mary Sue, PMS, who started taking an interest in me and in replying to a lot of my posts. We hit it off online and soon my online friends in the community began notifying me that she was asking questions and inquiring more about who I was and what I did. This was all during a time when cyber stalkers and internet-related crimes to persons were all in the news. It didn't bother me that she was checking up to see if I was legit, it just told me she was interested and wanted to know more. We started dating but found out she really wasn't the bring home to parents type material and overall we didn't have much in common. PMS was rather crude with language, smoked the nastiest cigarettes I've ever smelt and had questionable illegal substance habits I wasn't into. The kicker to this winner was that one of the words on her arm tattoo was misspelled, important later. She was really into me but from the start and wanted a friends W benefits relationship when I said I wasn't interested any further. Hold the phone. Just intimacy only? Sounds too good to be true, right? My hormones were in full gear but I was in my right mind to have PMS get checked. Docs gave her the clean bill of health, free of illnesses and the like so everything seemed to be good to go. Our first few weeks were hot and heavy. I started to sense that things were amiss when she became more and more possessive. Checking my phone and email accounts, calling at odd hours and while I was at work. Back then, my ego was about as large as my bank account so rather than ending it like I should have, I continued thinking I could control her. What I did next was a duck move, I know, but I asked her for a private picture session in intimate change for gifts. She didn't even bat an eye. And made it clear it would cost me in material goods for the favor. I got my explicit photo session with PMS and our normal hot and intimate relation continued for a few more months. Around this time, I noticed funny things were happening around my place like my desk drawers appeared rifled through my financial letters/bills just disappeared before I got it. The intimacy was still fun but a nagging feeling kept gnawing at the back of my mind to end it. I got the first real red flag when I got a phone call at work from my bank that someone tried to use my credit card at a local department store. The female culprit with tattoos fled the scene but that's all the proof I had that it was her. I confronted her with no position to judge but she denied everything. Suspicious of her actions, I started seeing her less and less of her over the few weeks and through disinterest and mistrust, I then called it off. The crap hit the fan once I did and I quickly found out that back at the start of the relationship, she wasn't just checking up on me, she was gathering a portfolio on me. She was a gold digger con artist researching her latest claim. I made good money, had a great job and she felt that it was hers now. Even though I had bought her things during our relationship, other small items in my place of minimal value started disappearing. Not only that, she had no shame in attempting to blackmail me by calling my friends/family and even my job. PMS made it clear that she would pretty much continue this until I gave her $2,000 from what I owed her in taking and keeping the pictures. I had destroyed her name by doing so. She underestimated me and my influence with job/family and friends. I was able to persuade them all to ignore her and I filed a restraining order within a few days. PMS made several attempted to make good on threats. After she got the summons, PMS all but dropped out of sight after a week or so. Several months later, my place was broken into and my computer, TV, personal records and some sentimental items of little value were stolen. The police couldn't find any prints but clearly knew that the thief must have been familiar with me. They grabbed everything of value while disturbing next to nothing that normal burglars go for. Also known as drawers, filing cabinets, certain desk drawers, etc. That same day, PMS attempted to purchase/withdraw money from another department store using a spare ATM I kept hidden that she obviously found while raiding my place. My PIN was easy to figure out and I found out via a fraud alert phone call that this card was being used for the first time. Ops on her and lucky me. She had stolen my computer so she thought all the photos of her were in her possession. She forgot to take the backups I had in CDs right next to it. I gave the police all the intimately explicit digital photos in hopes that the department store surveillance would identify her. The female was wearing a hat and glasses and no other positive means of identification except for an exposed arm/wrist. The cops found the misspelled tattoo via her arm, the video, and were able to positively identify her in the act of fraud. I don't remember how long it took, felt like months, but PMS was eventually arrested and convicted because of the photos I gave to the cops. I was told by the arresting officer who also handled my burglary that the prosecutor used post-it notes to cover up her naughty bits in full poster-sized versions of the photos I took that identified her. LOL. I never got back my computer. Officer says she probably trashed it as it wasn't worth much, and some of my personal sentimental items she wanted to use for blackmail, but the revenge was mine.